Hey Amy, it's Stace. You had asked me to send you some videos on helping you out with some knitting stuff, so here I am, helping you out, I hope. I'm going to help you out with a bunch of stuff. My plan is to do a bunch of small videos, so you don't have to, go through the whole damn thing just to find out how to purl or knit two together. So, the first thing that I wanted to start off with is to make sure that we're on the same page with knitting. First things first, I guess this is considered stockinette stitch. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's got these pretty little V's on one side, and on the other side, it's got these kind of bumps going on. If you're knitting for the first time and you're doing that infant hat and you're doing it in the round, just knitting will make everything look like this. Real pretty, nice and flat. It's kind of what you see whenever you see knitting. Clothes and stuff almost always have this particular pattern. However, if you're only knitting and you're doing it flat, so you're working this row and you're like do and you turn it around and you knit this row, it's not going to end up the same. Since in circular knitting you're always knitting and then you're always knitting and you're always knitting, it's always going to have this. You don't really get to work this backside. But when you're flat knitting, in order to get this pattern, I guess, you have to knit this side, and then you would purl this side, and then you would knit and purl. All these little bumps come up if you're on this side and you knit, like I'll show you, and you knit the way you knit, it creates the bump, that little loop where the yarn loops in. It creates the bump on the other side, and then when you purl, it creates it on this back side. While I'm knitting, I want to make sure that you and I do knit the same way. I think with our conversations, you've told me you're also a thrower, a continental or an English knitter, where you put the needle into the stitch that you want to work, and then you throw it around the needle. Oops, throw, and then you pull it through, and then you slip it off. So it's go through the stitch, wrap it around, pull it through, and then slip it off. Some people are continental knitters. They hold the yarn in their left hand like a crochet hook, and they knit by kind of, I can't even try it. I've tried so many times. But it's almost like crocheting where they kind of snag it and pull it through and then slip off. But if you are a left-handed knitter, like if you hold the yarn in your left hand, there's a site you can email me, and I'll make sure that we've got good information for you for the site for continental knitting. But I think you're an English style knitter from what we had talked about. I like to hold my yarn over here in my pinky like this. It keeps the tension a little more stable so that I'm not yanking on the working yarn that much, because that'll create really tight stitches right here, and that makes your life kind of a living hell when it comes to working those stitches, because they're so very tight. You'll learn throughout your knitting how tight and you may just, find out you're just a really tight kind of knitter or a loose knitter. I've become a little bit more of a loose knitter as the years have gone by. So we're ready to start purling. So I've knit this row, which creates, these pretty, like I said, these pretty V's on this side. And in order to keep the V's going, I need to make sure that these bumps from the knitting are on this back side, and that's how purling comes into play. So I'm going to start a new video and go over purling with you.